Call of Duty are good games.
Okay. What? It's episode 6 of the Whales Are Whales podcast. We're in the sophisticated...
We've had 6 episodes already?
That's what I was thinking too.
We're in the sophisticated members, friends, and family of the Whales Are Whales network gather around once a week to talk
I'm not
about
really sophisticated, so I'll just show myself out.
things. What's that, Zachary?
He says he's not sophisticated.
Unbelievable. I don't believe a word of it. Everyone. Zachary is the
Which
most
word don't you
sophisticated
believe?
individual I have yet met on this earth.
I'm not either. I'm just a humble country yokel.
Get out! Get out of our
I'm just smoking a
podcast!
cigarette and taking a shot of whiskey, so I'm not sophisticated either.
He's a city slicker.
Oh, okay. Well, the reason I'm
Look
disguising
there,
my...
see? That was totally like a Kentucky accent.
Oh my god.
I'm good at accents.
Yes, you are. Let's hear your British accent.
No.
Oi, nuh-uh.
Cameron's British...
Put another shrimp on the Barbie.
Well, that's offensive to, like, every Australian, I think.
Well,
They'll get over it. They have more stuff to deal with than offensive people. They have to
Like, we
make
actually
sure they
have-
don't die every day.
It's like people in Australia actually listen to this. They're too busy not dying from...
Actually,
There's actually a
we have
legitimate
one
chance.
Australian that listens
Yes.
to our podcast.
I do a podcast with an Australian, so...
Well, he's obviously lying about where he's from because he should be battling, like, giant spiders and snakes right now.
That's a fair point. Everyone does think he's British when they first hear him, since his mom was British.
Totally knew he was Australian.
You knew
said-
he is... Well, I think I told you he was Australian.
Yeah, but his accent is completely Australian. He's got the
Yeah.
O's more than most British people.
Apparently most people guess he's British, though, so...
Where
that's just where they go.
Where was the other person we played with from? I'm not saying his name.
He was born in Colombia and then came to the U.S., so...
Yeah, I figured he was in the East Coast, because he was 3 hours ahead of me.
Yeah, he now is in Atlanta.
Oh, okay, cool. I was wondering.
So, but yeah, he does also have an accent as well. So much multiculturalism going on in that new
And
Hearthstone
then there's you and
podcast.
me, Brian. We're just like, we're white.
Yeah, I think that's actually a direct quote. Steven, do you want us to introduce ourselves real quick? Did we do that at all?
yeah, I guess we... The reason I was doing the whole sophistication thing is because it helped disguise my voice.
Oh, wow.
Which is really
Still
bad right now.
recovering. So yeah, it's Steven. You're Steven.
Hi,
our
I'm
host.
Steven. I'm the host. I wasn't the host last week because apparently I was dead. That's
Yeah,
what
you were.
That's what you guys said.
But you
Yeah,
called out
I
from the
killed
lake.
you and threw you in a lake.
Yep.
But luckily, that wasn't a lake, Cameron. It was a Lazarus pit, which is thus proving not only my immortality, but my extensive
God.
knowledge of the Marvel
Stuck with
universe.
Steven forever.
Yeah, pretty much. He's also insane.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better, Steven. Well, okay, I'm
Contrary
glad
to
you're
all
feeling
sounds.
better. I didn't say you were better. I'm feeling better.
All right,
stop hamming it up.
I'm his brother, Bryan, as everyone may know, and Cameron. You're Cameron, right?
No.
Shoot, and Zachary.
Yeah,
I believe you're Zachary.
Yes, I am Zach, and I am also white. Just to...
We have so much
just to
diversity.
clarify.
All white males.
Oh shoot! I just unplugged
yeah,
my headset.
just wanting
One
to, like, set the
Alright.
record straight that, I am white, just in case you perhaps thought that.
That
I
reminds
thought you
me
were
of,
black this whole time.
sec. Plot twist.
It does happen sometimes. I know it's very hard to, try to discern my race through the fact that I am possibly the whitest person here.
I don't know. You got some competition, man.
Like, you guys live in Texas, so at least you should at least have, like, a tan or something.
You don't know my genes, sir.
Wow, is that not true? I have freckles.
I spend a lot of time in the sun, but it doesn't work just because, I come from an incredibly pale lineage.
And I
So-
live in gray, horrible Oregon, so
but the sun can still shine through and give you sunburn through the clouds, Cameron.
it doesn't, though.
You could
It
also be
doesn't.
tan, whereas I just spend all my time inside. So
Well, I mean,
Fair
sort of all of us. I mean, we're not. This is not a competition here, I don't think.
Yeah. I don't know. I spend actually a good deal outside because of my work, but
see,
on
there
my
you go. I
leisure
don't.
time, I spend a good bit of time inside. This is true.
I think I've been inside for more than 90% of this weekend.
I believe that. I mean, considering you said, I'm starting Halo 4. I finished Halo 4.
Yeah,
In his defense, that's a very short game.
It is super short. Wow, like, holy crap, it's short.
It's really good, though.
Should we start talking about that first?
No, let's start with what's happening with Wales or Wales, because I feel like we need a little bit of an update with that.
Sure.
Namely, things have been having a tough time scooting along recently.
Have they?
Well, I think they have.
Oh, that's fair.
Sorry.
You've been dead, so that's kind of...
Well, we had to cancel Train Station at 8
because
last
you've been
week.
dead.
Because I've been dead.
Train station at late, more like it.
I'll say. Pithy, man.
I know.
But everything else has managed to continue, even though I wasn't there for it.
Yeah, our last episode of Third Person, which just went up as of this recording, had Abigail and me, and then also Abigail's boyfriend, Parker.
Parker!
So,
Wait,
that was awesome.
Abigail's dating Parker?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, indeed. Have you ever talked to Parker, Cameron?
I have only seen Parker in the video that Steven shot for your birthday.
Right. Yes, that is how I came to know Parker. He was Abigail's friend, and then they started dating. So, yes. So Parker was an excellent guest, as I expected he would be, and it was quite an interesting conversation of unpopular opinions we all hold.
So
it was a lot of me defending stuff that everyone else thinks is bad.
Man, that would have been
Isn't
a
that
fun
what it
episode.
normally is?
Kind of.
If you want to be sold on the episode of Parker, I will tell you all the facts about Parker.
Okay.
And there are 3 of them. And then you will know everything about Parker, and you'll want to go hear about him. So, thing number 1, Parker has gray hair.
Gray?
Great hair.
Yes.
And someday he'll have gray hair.
Yeah.
Thing number 2, he has an amazing smile.
This is true.
And
that is great for podcasting.
That is great for podcasting. And thing number 3 is that he has a really strange sense of humor.
This is very true. That actually is great for podcasting.
So when you combine all those 3 facts, you get Parker, as far as I'm concerned. And
pretty much.
He's a great man.
Great!
Those are some very good...
Come on. Gotta get the joke.
I don't actually. What the heck is that?
No.
Dang it. That's not fun.
I'm sorry. What's it from?
It's from Sonic 06.
Oh, I haven't played that game in so long.
Wait,
What
is
that?
Cameron giving Sonic references that we don't understand?
When you get a box of rings or whatever, Sonic goes, great! And if you get like 4 in a row, he goes, great!
I love that reference, Cameron. Even though I didn't get it at first, that's amazing. So yeah, we threw that episode up there. I think it's really good. It's actually really long. It went on for like an hour and 45 minutes.
Wow.
So
almost as long as this podcast is going to be.
No, it's not going to be that.
By a pretty huge margin, our
I
longest
will walk
episode
off
yet.
this podcast.
Something else I've been doing recently, it isn't actually a Wales or Wales project, at least not yet, but it is being hosted on Wales or Wales because that's my infrastructure for podcasts I put out there. But I started a Hearthstone podcast with some friends of mine, the friends you were playing with that other night, Cameron.
Very great friends, absolutely. Wonderful people.
Yes, they're awesome. Andres and Billy, our multicultural additions.
Right, and we really need them on this podcast too because seriously, we lack so much diversity.
And Abigail was supposed to make it today so we could get the female voice in, but no, she decided to play Pathfinder or something.
I mean, she's still white too. It's like everyone is just white.
That's a fair point. I think she's like 2% Native American, though.
Well, I'm 2% Native American, but
Okay.
Everybody who lives in
too.
America is 2% Native American.
Yeah, so it doesn't really
I don't
count.
even know if I am 2% Native American, though.
Probably like
I'm
at least
very
1%.
European.
I mean, I'm a quarter
Maybe-
Swedish
maybe
and
your
still
ancestors,
Native American.
Maybe your ancestors killed 2% of
Oh, jeez, this is getting dark.
of an American, so maybe there's something, maybe there's a connection, so...
There's at least a connection.
Whether through guns or the smallpox, it's just...
This is so dumb. But yes, let's get on to happier topics. Hearthaholics is the name of the podcast, and we put out 1 episode, and we'll be putting out another one probably on
So I had a
Wednesday.
good idea, Brian.
Yes.
Your podcast is Hearthaholics. I
Yes.
think within a few episodes, since 90 point, you know what I'm going to talk about, don't you?
No, I don't.
Oh,
Continue.
you said yes, like you totally knew what I was going with.
I feign knowledge very well, Cameron.
Apparently,
Continue.
yeah. So we should, since it's a Hearthaholics podcast, but it's sort of like everyone in that podcast also plays Heroes
Heroes.
Storm religiously. I think not quite
Yeah.
as religiously as Heroes. I mean, as Hearthstone. We should have
Yes.
one episode where we actually talk about Heroes, and you get me on the podcast.
I've actually definitely
And
considered
me on the
that.
podcast.
I would love to do that.
And
once
get
we
me
kind
on
of,
the pod. Oh, wait.
No,
Sorry.
start playing Heroes, Zach, and go for it. But yeah, that's something we definitely considered doing. Something else we've considered is like playing Heroes and recording our games and throwing those up on the YouTube channel as like just additional content.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we're all huge Heroes fans in addition to Hearthstone. So I'm sure once we kind of get our act together and get the Hearthstone schedule going for a little while, we'll probably dabble.
Yeah,
in some Heroes
I wouldn't say like
content
episode 2 is Storm.
exactly. But
Brian, are you
yeah.
better at Heroes or Hearthstone?
Oh, I am much. I think I'm much better at Hearthstone.
You must be much better at Hearthstone.
I imagine I mean, maybe
Though
today I saw a video of someone saying Hearthstone is no skill whatsoever. It's all RNG, and anyone who thinks they're actually improving at it are just tricking themselves.
Well, that person is probably dumb.
Yeah, that's a big, what would you say, problem in the Hearthstone community is people who are just getting mad at the game and thus saying it requires no skill whatsoever. Or people who just want to seem cool and say that.
I mean, that was my biggest issue when I played Hearthstone was the RNG. But
Right.
that's just any card game ever. It's like, not Hearthstone's problem, it's every card game. And I remember didn't we try to create a version of a card game that didn't have RNG?
Yeah, that went really poorly.
It went
we tried to
very
play
badly.
we tried to play a Magic game where we could just set the order of our deck, and I just played a green deck and killed you by just drawing on curve.
Yeah,
every
you
single
had the
turn.
knowledge of Magic cards that would like, okay,
Yeah.
so 4 turns later, you have no more health. It was
Right.
great.
I mean, I've come to really appreciate RNG because I think there is a large skill that comes to manipulating RNG to being in your favor more often than it isn't, but there are still going to be games that you lose and can do nothing about. Just like in Heroes, I mean, there's the RNG of who you get teamed up with, which in my opinion swings as much or more than Hearthstone RNG. Unless you have a full pre-made team, the RNG of getting teamed up with a good or bad player or teamed against good or bad players is kind of insane.
But the RNG goes away when you start playing as ranked, which, by the way, Stephen, we played our first ranked game. Oh man, it was fun.
That's fun.
It was really good. I mean, the
Played our first
RNG
2, actually.
does go away from what heroes you get, but I mean just players you're being matched with. Like, if you're matched with a bad player who's just not good at the game, you can just lose in
I got you. I
Heroes.
thought you meant like if you weren't paired with a healer or something.
That's the other problem.
That's not
for
really
sure.
the same thing because that player is putting his or her skill into the game just like you are, so it's not really a random element. It's just...
It's a random element insofar as you're concerned.
Yeah. You don't know who you're gonna get, if the person's gonna be good or bad. You are randomly matched up with this person who happened to choose the character you need in your team. Therefore, it's kind of... I mean, it's not as random as, say, shuffle a deck and draw a card,
Right.
but it's definitely still got a random aspect to it.
Yeah, I think like any matchmaking system, even chess has an RNG element because it's like if you play online chess, it's about, well, are you matched up against a good player or not? That's not to discredit these games as much to say people who say that when RNG comes into effect, there's no skill. I don't think you can ever have that much control over a game. Like, there's always going to be some element of random chance, and you shouldn't let that ruin competitive nature of games for you.
Well, it's ruined it for me.
Some games are more random than others, which has made me really want to get back into StarCraft, which is a very non-random game, which I do appreciate.
Don't stress me out.
Yeah, just the word StarCraft sends Cameron and I into like
It sends me into this weird frenzy of, oh
hysterical...
my gosh, I want to play it, but I don't want to play it.
I just get stressed already, like, thinking about a match starting. And
My heart is racing. I'm serious.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
But yeah, anyone who's interested in Heroes who might be listening to this, definitely check that out. Or even if you're not, you just like me, check out Hearthaholics. See what you think.
You mean Hearthstone.
What?
You were saying people who are interested
Heroes,
in
yeah,
Heroes.
Hearthstone, sorry.
Yeah.
Or Heroes, because we're going to do a Heroes episode. But yeah, it's been really great so far. We've actually had a really good reception to the show and got some cool feedback and so on, and a lot of people who are interested in helping out. So I've been very happy with that, even though it was hectic getting like everything together in a day for like the launch. But
I can't imagine it's easy to get somebody who's like, I think 14 hours ahead of our time schedule getting onto a podcast.
You are exactly right. It's 14 hours. That's really impressive, Cameron.
I work with Australians.
Actually, I think he's 13 hours ahead of me, but he would be like 15 hours ahead of
is
you.
15 hours ahead of me,
Yeah.
16 hours ahead of me.
Yeah,
So
I think
like,
he.
the joke is, they always call and they're like, "Are you in the United States?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "How's the past like?" I'm like, "Ha, that's a great joke. I've never heard that
Yeah,
one before."
it's actually Billy has never made that joke to his credit, but
Really?
it's become pretty. Yeah, but it's become pretty easy for me to realize. Like right now, I just need to go forward an hour and then change the PM to an AM, and I know what time it is for Billy, and it's made everything way easier. So I'm just like, right now it is 5:20 a.m. For him, so I can.
So let's call him, wake him up.
He's probably already up. He gets up at like 4 a.m.
Oh, weirdo.
Well, he tries to keep a schedule because he has so many American friends. He's trying to like do a schedule to where he can actually spend time
he just
with
needs
them.
to move to the U.S.
That's actually his plan.
Good.
He really wants to.
You realize that you're convincing like 89% of your friends to move to Texas eventually?
Pretty much.
Like, what in the world is that about?
I've already convinced Abigail's brother moved here because of me. I got him a job here, and thus Abigail moved here because of me indirectly.
Jeez.
So I get a lot of people to come to Texas. Like, I should run for governor.
You're like the black hole of friendship, pulling everything
no,
into
it's like
it.
the white hole, remember?
Oh my gosh. It took me like 2 solid seconds to get that joke.
But anyway, in short, like you said, Cameron, Andres and Billy are just fantastic. They've been doing so much of the workload for this podcast. Andres is doing all the audio editing, and Billy's doing all the video editing, and they're just great co-hosts. I am pretty amazed to have found 2 people that just are interested in podcasting with me and doing such a great job.
Yeah.
Well, I've only
you
known
found
them for a few
us.
months. I know, but that was also crazy.
Yeah. I mean, you can't say that was normal. I found you people on a message board. A message board about a religion I don't even prescribe to anymore. And yet we made like 150 podcast episodes and are still talking on Skype, and Cameron's going to visit us in Houston on Saturday.
The second time visiting you.
The second time.
Yeah, that was one of the weirdest friendships I've ever started was with you guys because it was just so random.
Yeah.
Like, at least we kind of had video games holding us together, but I mean,
Video
these guys
games
made a little more sense because we were like specifically all into Hearthstone, but you guys were just like, I guess, yeah, they like video games. Let's do a podcast.
And now I don't even like video games.
I know.
Video games aren't even what's really doing it. But yeah, let's see. So we canceled Train Station today. Hearthaholics is up. Trying to think if I've been doing anything else with Whales or Whales.
I mean, we could talk about everything. Like, Zachary sent me a message saying, "Are you ready to start up the anime podcast?" And I said, and he said, "All right, well, we'll just wait till you're done with that."
That
Then.
is specifically what he typed into the stupid message. Was just,
Oh, I believe it.
Hacking cough. Great.
But yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all I've been up to. We need to put some weird webcomics at this, dude.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I've been wanting to get back into those again.
Yeah. But anyone else do anything podcasty, like other than the Whales or Whales cast? I guess, Steven, you've been out of commission. Cameron, right now, this is your only podcast.
Yep.
And Zachary, you're waiting on Steven to start yours.
Yeah, I am waiting because the spring season has now started. It's been a week since the spring season has started.
Uh-oh. You better get on that, Steven.
I'm so behind on everything. I had
got a bunch of things lined up for him to watch and possibly hate me for.
Oh man. Okay, I'll be good this week. I'm ready to go. I had like a panic attack on Friday.
Panic attack, panic. That's a song.
Okay.
Yep. Panic Station is also a song.
Panic Station!
Any more?
Zachary, do you know what band that is from?
No idea.
Oh, it's Muse.
Oh.
Good guess, though.
It's from their Sellout album.
I have like listened to like a single album of theirs, and that was because a friend of mine was all like, "Hey, I like this band because they're on Rock Band, and I got this album with."
I bet you I know who that friend is, don't I?
Maybe.
No, I don't know. Anyways,
I like them. They're not my favorite band, but they are pretty amusing.
Right.
Brian,
you're fired.
Wow.
Brian,
You're fired.
I was being
Fired.
quiet, waiting to find a good time to interject that pun into the conversation.
Yes, me too.
And you just came in and chose a bad time to interject it into the conversation. That's not fair. I was waiting for
That's
the
kind
art.
of the difference between Steven and Bryan, isn't it? I mean, like, Bryan is like, lol, bad pun, and Steven articulates
Well, actually,
his puns
no.
better.
It's
No.
typically the opposite.
Yeah.
Where the puns I don't say are the ones that Steven does.
Listen, guys, I don't spend that much time around you. How would I know the difference? Come on.
Fair enough. We conflate.
The point is, I'm the sophisticated one of the two.
Exactly.
No, you're the superior one, I think.
The superior, both
you're
of
licking
those
You know, I actually
Snake and I'm
forget who I
Solid
like
Snake.
more anymore. Like, who's
abjectly false.
through canon? Who am I supposed to like more? You or
Okay,
who or you?
well,
I think Zachary likes me more, so you have to balance it out by liking Steven more.
Okay, I like you more, Steven.
okay, we were gonna have some great segments today, but
yeah.
I forgot what they were. So what we're gonna do is everyone rank who they like least to most out of everyone else.
In this call?
Yes.
Or everyone I know?
No, just my favorite is Bryan. Sorry, guys.
Yay!
And my second,
I'm offended.
My second favorite is probably Zachary, because we
Hey,
have.
I just said you were my favorite. What's that about?
And then my third and my least favorite is Cameron. Anyway,
Wait, Stephen, where do you rank in that?
I'm
Right between Zachary and Cameron?
Yes. Yes. So, I'm glad we cleared that up.
Well, I like you all equally.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not participating in this podcast.
Yeah, this is damaging.
Although technically, I like Zachary the most because I've known him longer than all of you.
Oh, that's
Yes.
point. Like, at the very least, Zachary has, like, the most amount of liking.
But if we're the same person,
Good
and
point.
you've known both of us, but we're different people, if you added up the time you've known both of us together, would that be as long as you've known Zachary?
I don't think so.
No,
I've
I
known
don't
Zach
either.
for like
Like,
15 years.
Yeah, I've actually like known Cameron since he was a wee lad, like very tiny, just smaller than he is now, which is actually still pretty small. So
I used to be like 4'3".
like it was
In, like,
insane.
middle
I
school.
remember when he was like really tiny, and
I'm so glad that you've
It
elevated
was-
to 4'6" or whatever you're at right now.
Hey, I'm 5'8" now, thank you, or 5'9".
Yeah, that's a respectable height. That is like a good height without bumping your head.
Of course,
on things
you
all the
guys
time.
were way taller than I expected you to be, both of you.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, we're really
6'4". Ridiculous.
Not that tall. But we're pretty tall.
I was expecting a midget from Bryan, personally.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, midgets and puns go together.
Oh, jeez, dude.
So we can make all the short jokes. I mean,
Can we talk about something worthwhile now?
Yep. Nope.
Oh.
Sure. Well, I guess there are a couple things we could talk about, guys. I was thinking we could either talk about the nature and constraints of time.
Okay.
And how...
well, I mean, if you want to do that, you can always just go watch Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared Too.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
yeah, dude, no.
We're just
Absolutely.
steering the conversation back on course, Zachary.
No, I'm with
Zach
on
is
this
here
one.
to interject horrible
You
dark
were
humor.
the one who said that we should talk about the nature and constraints of time.
Okay.
And that
Kind of walked
episode
into that one.
specifically addresses those two concepts.
Literally, like the exact concepts, yep.
Dun, 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 dun.
Well,
All right.
you got me there. I guess we could talk about that.
I am totally okay with that episode except for the ending.
Oh, it's fine. I actually told my mom that, like, this past weekend, and she was just, like, laughing the entire time through. It was very weird because she usually hates that kind of stuff, but she found it very charming and very funny.
Wow. Okay.
She said that apparently it's not as bad when puppets are dying.
Stephen, we obviously need a Zachary's mom seal of approval here. So, get on that.
Well, I'm judging this video purely on the first one, which I did not like.
Oh, okay. You never saw the time one?
Nope.
Oh,
I don't think so. So
okay. I don't necessarily... I'm not going to recommend you see that, nor am I going to recommend you don't.
yes, we'll
just going to leave it
we'll
there.
leave it up to your own
Yeah.
consciousness.
Discretion is the word you're looking for.
So I've got a better idea. Let's talk about the nature and constraints of time some other time.
Okay.
Okay.
I was jealous, Brian, that you didn't. Well, I guess that I wasn't able to get on the third-person episode about unpopular
Yes.
opinions.
Okay.
So can we just talk about unpopular opinions here?
like, not even for storytelling?
No, just for anything.
Sure, yeah, okay, go for it.
All right, let's talk about unpopular opinions, everyone.
All right.
Well, Brian, what are some of the ones that you already said on third person
Oh, jeez.
that I shouldn't then use?
Okay, so this is an interesting one that you shouldn't use. So you're asking me to give you opinions that you shouldn't choose, so we don't go over them again.
I guess so.
Just choose an opinion. I'll tell you if I chose it.
Okay, how about the opinion that Star Wars Episode 3 has a...
Yep.
Okay.
Probably don't use storytelling. 'Cause,
okay, not storytelling.
I already
All right.
did that.
So the point of unpopular opinions is simply to think up an opinion that the majority of people don't seem to hold or that you don't understand. Whether you...
Zachary doesn't know. Zachary's so mainstream though.
Yeah, I
he's
know.
Not gonna have any of
Oh
these.
yeah, I know. I just have none of them ever. It's
Call of Duty are
No.
good games.
It's not like I go online and get yelled at constantly for my opinions. No, not at all.
All right, I have one that's about video games.
Zachary just goes over Metacritic, and whenever he sees something with 90 or higher, he watches or plays that thing and writes a list of all the reasons it's not.
Well, actually, it's more like I go on there and look for games with scores of 15 or lower.
Ah, there you go. See, that's a
And
much
to write
healthier
about
approach.
how much I actually like them and why they're perfect.
So we could talk about Gothic for a while.
Ride to Hell Redemption.
That game is actually not good. No.
Ah, finally.
Yeah.
All right, Steven, you had an opinion. Go ahead.
Okay, I have the opinion that Final Fantasy, the old Final Fantasies, the 2D ones, the only good one is 1. And then it then got good again with Bravely Default, which isn't even a Final Fantasy game.
So you think every Final Fantasy game ever made except for 1 is bad?
Well, I've only played up to 6 and then a couple of other
I
random
remember
ones.
enjoying 4 or 2.
Isn't like it's 5 or 6 regarded as like the greatest 2D RPG, something crazy all the time? Yeah.
6 is the one that is generally regarded as the greatest Final Fantasy, just like of all time.
Yeah.
And
So-
I just don't think that the game is very fun. I just had never been able to get into it at all. And it's just one of those things where I just don't get it. Every time I play it, I just don't get it.
Excuse me, Stephen, I'll have you know that DRPGs are not meant to be fun. They're meant to be engrossing and emotionally involving. And you're not supposed to have fun when you are being emotionally charged through the amazing storytelling of the amazing Japanese artists. Okay, so I'll have you know that you are wrong in every way.
That is...
All right, I'm going to say an unpopular opinion here that I think that voice is horribly annoying. I don't know if anyone else holds this opinion.
Nah, I liked it. I thought it was great.
Okay,
It is an unpopular opinion.
Yeah, see, I'm not mainstream here. Okay, so
Well,
I agree with you, Steven,
good, because I don't know
but I feel we were missing something with that game.
Me too. Maybe we were missing the time in which it was meant to be played.
Yeah, like back when game stories were horrible.
But then
Wait,
again, I feel like a good game is still fun now. Like you could play many olden games and they're still worthwhile.
Name 50.
Okay,
I think,
here I go.
let's go.
Super Mario World, Donkey Kong
Name
Country.
149.
Oh no, that's as many as the original Pokemons.
All right.
No.
This is really stupid. Going back to actually the original point, though, I think some games age better than others because some don't. For example, a game that was good primarily because it looked really good will not age very well.
Well, you could argue that that's not a good game anyways, if the only reason we played it because it looked good.
Yes, and this is going to be my argument for Final Fantasy, Cameron.
Ah.
Final Fantasy VI, I think, was popular, and this is from kind of an outsider's perspective because I didn't play it at the time, is because it was such an emotionally engaging story. For the time, but now, looking back on it...
the terrible impersonation.
Looking back on it, it's like the story isn't very emotionally engaging compared to a lot of stuff. I mean, game stories aren't fantastic, but there are plenty that are better than that and better written and
Alpha
translated
Team,
than that now.
go get the thing from the...
So it's kind of like going back to that. It doesn't necessarily stand out anymore because I don't think like the story and the writing holds up that well anymore, which is like the primary reason to be playing through it. That was my experience with it, at least, and maybe that's why it doesn't age so well.
I guess we'll have to agree to disagree.
Do you like 6?
I pretty much like all of them, including these stories still, but I think that that's just...
All of them except
also,
8.
I mean, I think that we actually touched upon this back on the DB cast too, where where there's like a certain like difference in terms of like what you were raised with, and I was raised with primarily like lots of Japanese fantasy and stuff,
Yep.
and so like that's more of like a like YA
Japanese Final Fantasy?
Yeah, well, it's more of a like YA lit sort of thing to where like it's basically just like like all teenagers saving the world, having these adventures, and like it's very like emotional, but it's very but it's sort of like a soap opera-ish kind of emotional, and
So basically, like
that kind of storytelling isn't going to appeal to somebody who grew up on Western fantasy, which is less emotional and more about the
world.
High fantasy and like world building and everything else, and so
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I think a large reason I don't enjoy it is because I don't have any nostalgia or emotional connection going back and playing it. I'm just looking at it as analytically as I'd look at anything else. And that's like trying to go back and read Animorphs and say,
hey. Like, okay, I actually went and like dug up a few of those books last week.
Right.
And I read like one chapter and 4 of them, and they're terrible.
Okay.
But
It's how disappointing.
How surprising.
Yeah, but no, that's a really good point, Zachary. I think the lack of growing up with it and the comparison to YA, I think, is a really good a good one, and it makes me feel kind of bad for some of the things I said about Japanese RPGs.
No, I mean, like, it's certainly, like, you kind of had to, like, grow up with them, I think, to really, like, appreciate that style of storytelling still. I mean, like, because I still play all of them, and I think that they still all have great stories. I mean, you know, some better than others, but, I mean, it certainly is just you have to be, like, in that mindset, and I don't think that I don't think that you can force yourself into that mindset. I think that you had to be kind of like you kind of had to, like, grow up with it and have it mold your way of thinking.
Yeah, kind of build a tolerance for it. And as someone who watched no anime growing up and only played, like, the Nintendo JRPGs, like Paper Mario growing up, I didn't build up too much of a tolerance. But I definitely get how that storytelling can be really fun. Like, every once in a while I find one I love, like Vesperia. Tales of Vesperia. I loved the characters in that game. And the story, or not so much the broader story that got really dumb, but the characters were great.
That's sort of always the strength of those games, though. Is just that the story is usually dumb, but just the interactions between all of the characters, like, they're just really good at just building up the camaraderie between all of the characters, instead of Western RPGs, which are just all the characters are basically defined by you, the player.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good point. Cameron,
what's up?
We need an unpopular opinion from you.
Well, I kind of said mine earlier. I didn't get a chance to think about this, thanks.
Oh, sorry.
So
I can go.
No, it's okay. I mean, I would have liked, like, a couple of days to think about it. But my first one that came to my mind was that Call of Duty has never been bad.
Oh, I thought you were just joking. Okay.
No.
Not that I think it's a bad opinion. I just thought you were throwing out weirdness.
Well, I mean, that's the point. If you think it's a bad opinion, that's fine, because it's unpopular.
You mean
opinion.
Like all Call of Duties?
There has not been a single bad Call of Duty.
What about Call of Duty?
I think I
1?
agree with Cameron.
I think that I agree with him as well, in terms of just they're not, like, badly made games. Like,
yeah. So, like, there could be, like, for example, Call of Duty Ghosts had a pretty rough multiplayer, not super great, mostly because of the maps, but, like, when you come down to the fundamentals, the mechanics, the I wouldn't even say story, but, like, the baseline of Call of Duty, the basics of Call of Duty have never been broken. They always work really well, they always play really well, they always sound and look really nice and well, relating to the era that they're released in. So, for example, Call of Duty 2 on the Xbox 360 and PC, phenomenal looking game. I don't, even Call of Duty 3, which was, you know, the off game, even Call of Duty Big Red one, blah, blah, blah. All these games, they've never been bad. I mean, you could argue that they are recycled and that they're maybe a little samey and even maybe a little lackluster, although I would actually not say they're lackluster. They've never been lackluster. They've just been samey. They've never been bad, personally. So you could always take a Call of Duty game and play the single player and be like, wow, that was exhilarating, a little maybe sometimes boring sometimes and samey, but always exhilarating and fun and very solid. The Call of Duty games are never going to crash or anything.
Steven has gone on record, though, saying that Black Ops 2, just Call of Duty Black Ops was the worst game for gaming ever, or something.
I think he was joking, but also, why do you think that?
I was joking. Of course I was joking.
Totally joke.
Well, I don't know. I was a different man back then. I'm sure I was using hyperbole to get under Cameron's skin and prove my point. I'd probably back off from that stance a little bit. At this point, it was kind of relating larger to the game's quality though.
Well, the quality is not something you should argue, because the quality has always been pretty darn high.
Yeah.
It's the innovation that's been really low. And that's totally a result of the 1 year cycle they've been given. However, Ghosts and Advanced Warfare, I think that's what it's called, are the last two products of the 2 year cycle. The one that's coming out this year has had 3 years to cook, and all sequential games coming out in the future will have 3 years to cook as well. That's exciting to me, because even though they're coming out every year, 3 years is a pretty good development cycle for a game. And considering that's an entire more year than Call of Duty's ever got, besides, like the earlier ones where it was just Infinity Ward, that's exciting to me, because that means that, specifically Treyarch, who is now weirdly enough the lead developer in Call of Duty games, they're gonna have 3 years to polish Black Ops 3, which is what's coming out.
Yeah.
And since Black Ops 2 was so good, and Black Ops 1 was pretty darn good too, I'm really excited to see what, 2 years was enough to build a baseline game that was fun and exciting and exhilarating. The extra year is going to be that innovation, that polish, that's going to make it, I'm just speculating, but I would hope. It's going to be that extra year that's going to really give the game an ability to innovate in a way that Call of Duty's never been able to do before, because it's never been given enough time to do so. So while Ghosts and Advanced Warfare were both whatever, it's Call of Duty, I have a feeling Black Ops 3 is going to be like, oh, wow, this is Call of Duty? Whoa. I can see Call of Duty underneath the skin, but wow, this is cool looking, That's my hope anyways,
That would be
I could
cool.
be completely wrong, and they would just squander that one extra year, making it more zombies,
More weapon skins.
Yeah, but I would hope that with that extra year, they realize that, whoa, we can actually make a real game now, not a yearly installment game, which would be really cool. I would really appreciate that. Cause man, Ghost was dumb. I'm kind of going against my own argument here, but Ghost was just dumb. And Advanced Warfare was not innovative enough. It was basically just Titanfall without the Titans. And so but those two were made by Infinity Ward, which is a shell of itself, and Sledgehammer, which is not really a game developer. They're more like a game add-on developer. So, Treyarch is the first game to come out with a 3-year cycle, and they're the only developer who I trust right now, in terms of Call of Duty. So we'll see what happens. I'm kind of excited, actually.
Okay.
And I've been dying for a good shooter, which is why I played Halo. Because I'm just like, I need to play a shooter, but I don't want to play a shooter that's Call of Duty right now, because and H1Z1 is the worst thing ever, and I just need a shooter to play. And
I can't actually recall the last time I played a shooter. My gosh, I've been
Fear?
playing so many RPGs and Blizzard.
Like modern
Oh, gosh,
shooter?
That was so long
just
ago.
any
That was like
shooter?
years ago. Just any shooter.
Well, was Fear the most recent? Speaking of Billy, there he is, 5 a.m.
Let me think. No, Fear was like 2 years ago. Like, when you bought that for me?
I know. Is it the last
Oh,
one?
it can't be. I played Bioshock Infinite
Yeah,
after
and
that.
I'm pretty sure that you two played a bit of Far Cry 3 in the last year at least.
Yeah, not Far Cry 4, but you're right. I played some Far Cry 3. That might have been the last one. Jeez, I thought I played shooters
Someone needs
quite
to
a
buy
bit.
Far Cry 4 and play with me in co-op, because I've stopped playing
I
it.
have Far Cry 4.
Do you?
Yeah,
Dude,
Kevin,
why-
Remember, back when I had no job, we actually talked about us playing together, and then things got busy, and I got a job, and
I've had a troubled couple of months
Yeah.
anyways. So, dude, freaking played Far Cry
Yeah.
4.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Sweet. I could take a break from other things I've not been doing.
Well, I can start playing it after I finish playing this game for the review.
Yeah, sure. That's awesome. That's my unpopular opinion, though. Although apparently everyone agrees with me. So
I think it's a good opinion.
But if you went online and said it, everybody would
exactly.
bring him my head. I don't know what I'm saying.
Bring me his head.
Bring him my head.
I got words mixed up, but
I agree with you on a broader level, Cameron. We're just I think people, in the rush to be hyperbolic and just say this is horrible and the worst thing ever, discount the quality and work that goes into even these AAA titles that we don't, necessarily love. I think I can be guilty of this myself with the Assassin's Creed games. As much as I dislike a lot of what they do and the game design behind them, there's still a lot of things that these games can also be getting right, and a lot of work and quality that's going into many of the aspects. The soundtracks can just be insane, and the production values can be insane.
Gears of War Judgment, for another example, Gears of War Judgment, I think is a pretty terrible game.
Right.
But when you stop thinking about it as terms of a sequel to Gears of War 3, which was phenomenal, and start thinking about it as just a regular game, oh my gosh, it has high production values. The graphics are amazing, the voice acting is amazing, the storytelling is fun, the shooting mechanics are solid and very, very entertaining still. The only thing I didn't like about it was that it was worse than Gears of War 3. And so that's it's not a terrible game. I just don't like it,
Yeah,
that
people
kind of
can be. It's just kind of an entitlement that can be easy to achieve when there are just so many games coming out.
And I'm sure
with such
God of
high
War
quality.
Ascension is good too, but I don't. Ugh.
Yeah, and that's something I appreciate about what you do with games, Zachary. Is you really champion the games that people kind of overlook, and that's nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
'Cause sometimes people can just be too harsh and not see the good in things. So,
Yeah.
speaking of which, got any unpopular opinions, Zachary?
oh boy, do I.
I was just waiting for that.
Okay, so I guess I could have Can I have two?
All right,
Yes.
you can have 1.5. Just you can stretch the half on.
Okay, cool. Okay, so like one that I guess actually both are sort of pretty recent, but I'll go with the one that will probably like make people more like angry because I mean like since the other one will have people just going, huh? What's that game? So the first one, Lord of the Rings: Shadow of Mordor, is absolute garbage.
Whoa.
That is my unpopular opinion.
I don't like the game.
why?
Okay, I'm with Zach. I think it's a terrible game.
It is like it's weird because like I can recognize that it is a well-made game in terms of just like checking all of the boxes off the list of what a modern open world action game needs. Like it has all of it. It has high towers that you jump off of. It has bloody intense combat. It has the sort of choices. It has the angry white man who lost his family.
Yes.
It just has all of that, but
Don't forget who he's voiced by as well.
Troy Baker, yeah,
Is it really Troy Baker?
Yes, it is.
Oh, great.
because he is the new Nolan North, and I cannot wait until Uncharted 4 to where Nolan North and Troy Baker face off.
The really sad thing is Nolan North voiced Golem in that game.
Really?
Really?
No.
Oh, you
No,
totally
I'm
had me,
joking.
dude.
I mean, I actually wouldn't be like. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
he
I
has
actually
range.
I mean, like, I actually could like kind of buy that because like it's weird to learn that like he actually does have pretty good range.
Ever since he did the Space Core, or the cores in general in Portal 2, I've actually had more
Yeah.
respect for him.
He did the Penguin in Arkham City. That was
Yeah.
pretty good.
When he doesn't
But anyway.
when he doesn't do Nathan Drake voice, he's pretty good. Anyways, go ahead, Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's just like so, like reading up about it and everything, like and like everybody talking about just how great or just how like kind of rote the game was, but just due to the Nemesis system, it made it good. Like like just that, like having the emergent gameplay of you being able to like make your own story based upon what you do with the orcs and which ones you let rise up through the ranks and which ones you kill or whatever. And everybody's like, oh my god, they all say these different things or whatever. And it's like, okay, so I run into one and then he's like, I'm gonna crush you. And it's like, okay, whatever. And then I run to the next one and then he's like, I'm going to destroy you. And the other one's like, I'm gonna kill you. And it's like, those are all the same thing. They're just using synonyms. You call this variety? I call it synonyms.
I
Like,
call it breaking lore because orcs have almost no vocabulary.
yeah, and actually,
Wouldn't be as good if they just went.
that was also the thing that, like, a friend of mine, because, like, I don't particularly like the books or anything, so, which is also another unpopular opinion, but, but I have a friend who's actually, like, very big into the books and the world and he and the lore and everything, like, and he actually, like, sat me down and just, like, told me, like, everything this game gets wrong.
A lot.
From just a pure, like, lore standpoint, and, like, it infuriates him when people play this game and are saying that, like, they wish the books were like this. It's just like, no!
Well, that's
Like-
that's not even. I like the game, and that's dumb for people who say that. Like,
Yeah,
I can completely understand that it's not even close to acting like the books at all.
Like,
movies.
yeah, because, like, like, his thing is that, like, the books are about, like, how just, like, good comes in small packages and can, like, conquer all and whatever, and,
Yep.
like, and the game is like, and the game is like, to win in this world, you must be this, like, angry white man
Who murders everything.
who has lost his family and is just on this, like, quest for, like, vengeance. And, like,
Pretty much.
that is what is good, being angry and vengeance. Like,
It's just God of War. But
and
in
Tolkien. Yeah, like, he was just like, this game infuriates me because
So-
everybody likes it.
So if you were to remove, like, if this game was called Angry White Dude the Game instead of Shadow of Mordor, and it was stripped of all its story elements, what would you think of it then, Zach?
I would still think it would be garbage just because it's just not particularly, like, fun to play for me. And, like, I think I'm just, like, done with that kind of game.
Like
I
the
actually
Batman Arkham
am-
Asylum games.
Like, I think that I'm going to give. I'm going to give, like, Arkham Knight just, like, the good one I'll try just because, like, it's Batman and like, I just like really like Batman. So
And it's
I think-
Rocksteady.
And I think that that'll be, like, the last one I actually, like, really play, because, like, every other one I've played recently has just been,
that combat system's not been around very long, though.
It's just it's not so much that actually bothers me. It's just the idea of just, like, so you have these big open world games, and so they're wanting you to pay, like, $60 for them. So basically, to justify that cost, they have to throw all this stuff into it, and just becomes bloat.
That is my huge problem with open world games. Yes.
It just becomes this, like, really just, like, it's just things being thrown in just for the sake of like, just having more stuff in the game.
Is there, what open world game has done this right, do you think?
That's the problem, is that, like, a lot of them, I mean, like, Just Cause 2, because, like...
There was so much bloat in that game, too, though. It's just a crazy minimap.
I mean, like, it's just that, like, the core mechanics and just the stuff that, like, you can just have fun.
Yeah.
Just, like, in, like, just doing stunts and stuff. Like, the bloat doesn't, like, define the game.
If it's still fun, if bloat is still fun, does that matter then? Like, for example, Grand Theft Auto 5 has a lot of bloat, but 90% of it is actually fun.
This is actually a big reason I didn't much care for Red Dead either. I just don't like these open world games very much, where there's just a bunch of stuff on your mini map to go.
And see, I would argue that Red Dead didn't have as much bloat as some games, because
no, it doesn't.
It's like very expansive but very empty world, because that's the point of the world, is to be empty. And so it's like, oh, you can play horseshoes. It's like
it still felt too full to me.
Yeah, for some reason in Red Dead, like, I was used to Elder Scrolls, so I try to, like, slowly walk my horse down a canyon, and it seemed like every 5 minutes I was hearing, "Help! I'm tied to a tree. Get me off this tree."
I think Elder Scrolls is an example of an open world done right. I mean, Elder Scrolls came out with its ideas before the Assassin's Creed of the world, like, made
the
this
Assassin's
so
Creed
popular,
ruined everything.
But, like, Elder Scrolls is an example of a world where there's a ton of stuff to do, but you don't feel pressure to constantly be running between point A to point B.
You know what game I'd like to mention real fast?
No,
is
mention it.
Ubisoft hit modern title
Assassin's Creed
Grow
2.
Home. That is a wonderful open world platformer that
Steven, all I saw you doing in that game was trying to kill a sheep.
Well, isn't that pretty much what you do in most open world games?
Good point.
I actually, like, I actually bought that game, and I mean, I probably am not, like, as, like, enamored with it, but I mean, it certainly is fun, and I certainly do wish that they would. I mean, like, that they'll, like, let those small teams make those small little, like, experimental games still.
Yeah.
Steven, can we after this podcast, can we get our Steam library sharing set up so I can play that game?
Yeah.
It's such a bummer with how open world games are going, though, because I love the idea of open world. Like, used to amaze me with games. But even games that otherwise, could potentially be interesting, like The Witcher 3, I'm just like, I don't even know if I'm
150 hours of gameplay!
Like, I think that also, like, a lot of it is just that, like, the worlds they build just aren't very, like, interesting to, like, to just, like, explore. I'm fine with these games if I have a world that I can just, like, have fun finding things in, even if they're like really dumb things, like, you found like a toaster, as long as it's like, a toaster in like a lush forest full of wonderful creatures,
toasters,
then that actually,
or the toaster is alive.
But yeah, I mean, like, just as long as there's like something that's just like uniquely, like, just fun and interesting about the world, then I don't mind it being this, like, big open world. I mean, like, with, like, Casino Blade is one open world game that I think is actually, like, is actually, like, really cool, because it's just like, there's just this wide variety of just, like, environments, whereas, with the GTA games, which, I mean, I know that they're well loved and everything, but it's like, okay, it's a city with maybe like a desert on the edge, and I mean, like, it certainly is, like, very cool that, like, they actually nail making a city feel more real than other developers do, but I live in a city. I don't want to go to one.
Well, Grand Theft Auto has actually been exactly what we've described until 5. 1 through 4 and all the side missions or whatever, they've all been very, go here, do this, here's a bowling alley, go, whatever you want to do. Exciting. 5 really changed that. With Grand Theft Auto Online, there is just like, you can explore the city and actually find fun things to do, and you're doing it with your friends, and you can get up to like 16 people in one server, and it turns it into a mundane city. It really makes it come to life, because there's always something to do, and it's not always boring. Like, you can run into a rival gang, and all of a sudden you're in this huge, giant war where you're fighting each other, and then after that, after you kill everybody, it's like, oh, well, hey, there's a race over here. Let's go do this race. I don't know. The world in Grand Theft Auto 5 flows a lot better than the majority of Grand Theft Auto games. Not that I'm defending its bloat, because it has it still, but they're getting there. They're getting better.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not like I'm saying that, like, it's not like I'm saying that, like, those that play and enjoy these games should feel bad for liking them. Because, like,
oh, no, I know you're not saying
like,
that.
Yeah, because, I mean, since, like, I mean, like, these games remain popular because, like, a large amount of people obviously, like, see some kind of value in them. It's just that, like, I've been playing games for, like, 23 years, and I don't know, it's just that, like, everything that is new in games, I like at first because it, like, is new and, like, really interesting, but then after a while, I get bored of it and find myself wanting to just kind of have games as they once were. And, I mean, like, it could be that I'm, just this, like, nostalgic, like, just, like,
curmudgeon
who is just like, get off my lawn! Give me Donkey Kong Country or die! Like, but...
Zachary, I would kill for a Banjo-Kazooie type of game. I would kill.
Well, we are actually getting that.
What, Hat in Time?
Well, no. Well,
Platonic.
That game is also very good, but yeah, no, a bunch of ex-Rare guys over at Platonic are making a...
Right, but it's not... Until it's in my hand and good...
Well, right, yeah, I mean, that certainly is... I mean... I think that we're now at a point to where, like, there are, like, enough games being made to satisfy, like, to mostly everybody. I mean, sure, there will be that person who's like, I want, like, Lufia 3, and it's like, sorry, bro, not gonna happen, but...
I want Lufia Total War. That's the only game that would make me happy.
But, I mean, it's just... Like, I don't know. It's just modern game industry is weird.
Well, I think we all agree on that, honestly. I mean, we always bring up Assassin's Creed. I mean, Bryan and myself do a lot. How it's the epitome of what modern gaming has done to, like, open worlds in general. It's just horrible.
And it's weird that I actually, like, really like those games from 2 to, like, 4 Black Flag. I actually like them.
Wait, you like 3?
Well, okay, 3 not with
3 can burn in a fire, and everyone who made it can also burn in that fire.
Hey, Cameron.
But 2,
be nice.
No. and then the spin-offs, and then 4, those are actually all fun games to me.
I've heard Rogue is actually pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, like, that one I also heard is fun. It's just that, I don't know, it's just that I also just find that I would rather just, like, be playing more like Japanese RPGs instead of anything else, just because they're just so... I guess they're just the, like, familiar genre to me. So
I was on board with all your points until now, Zachary.
Yeah. I know. Oh, just replace
Japanese with Western.
These RPG. Just replace it with, like, I don't know,
Hero Brawler.
Like,
Blizzard games?
CRPG.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I constantly go back to CRPGs.
I mean...
So I'm totally with you there, honestly.
It's sort of just like, what you find that, like, make you happy.
They're fulfilling. When I play them, I get something real out of them.
Yeah. Same for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just something that I just find some kind of like comfort in them that I don't get in other games.
Yeah, I think, especially talking about Assassin's Creed, and we were talking about how, we're sick with Batman-style games. That's the funny thing is, I was looking at Arkham Asylum earlier, and it's like, I loved that game, and the reason I loved it so much is it felt like they created an entire game type and an entire, like, engine to make a Batman game. Like, it felt like a game I had never played before, and they had uniquely crafted this entire thing to deliver a Batman experience. It was really a bummer when it, like, became a genre.
Yeah, that type of fighting combat system I don't think ever had been seen exactly in that iteration before. And
right, and it was just Batman to me.
Right, yeah, and then all of a sudden, that was the standard open world type fighting system because, well, here's a good point. That open world fighting system, if you're not a shooter, hadn't been figured out yet. And you look at Assassin's Creed and realize, oh yeah, this sucks. This battle system is the worst. And so when Batman came along and it was like, wow, this is like the best open world brawler fighting system ever, everyone's like, lol, let's just steal this. And so that's what happened. Everyone stole it. And then it became the general thing to do when you're a third person fighter, and that's not that exciting anymore.
Yep, that's all very true. Very true.
But
man, at least there are still lots of awesome games to play.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't need all games to be all things just simply because I just played Grow Home for 20 hours, and that lasted me for weeks. So it's not the worst.
As long
thing.
as we can all get a game that we actually still enjoy, and like, then it's like, who cares? I mean, that's a blanket statement, but it's like we shouldn't feel too upset if we can still find those games that we like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just weird for us because we grew up with games being like, you kind of had to play the mainstream games if you wanted to play games.
Yeah.
And
we're
having
in a weird time.
It's like only watching, Hollywood hits and saying, man, all these movies are just so bland. And it's like, you're having to learn that that's not really the place to go anymore. And I think it's hitting a lot of people who were playing games before the last few years. Like, it's kind of taking some time to adapt to it. It's weird.
So, but Bryan, do you have any unpopular opinions?
Unpopular opinions.
Just, can you ever upset anyone? Or
can I ever
just walk into a room when everyone immediately agrees with you? In fact, if you would suddenly say an unpopular opinion when we all just miraculously agree with you.
I highly doubt that.
I've always held that belief, in fact. I want it engraved on my tombstone.
Unpopular opinions. Nubarak is the worst thing ever.
That is not an unpopular opinion. That is
Too many people agree with that?
Of life.
I don't even know what.
I barely
just nod your head and say yes, Zachary.
All right.
I am nodding, but you can't see it, and I'm not gonna say in which direction I am nodding.
Oh man, unpopular opinions. It's like, it's weird because so many opinions. I feel like nowadays in the internet,
yeah, I know.
You have so many people who agree with you on both views. Like, for example, my opinion that I held the opinion in that third person episode that I think Frozen isn't a bad movie. I think it's quite a good movie. And
is that
Parker and Abigail were like, yeah, everyone loves Frozen. We have the unpopular opinion that Frozen stinks. And I'm like, no, everyone complains about Frozen now. So it's like, there are tons of people on both sides yelling about everything.
When having this discussion, here's how I view it. I think disliking Frozen is still an unpopular opinion. If you look at how many people love it and how many people buy the movie and the scores it gets on review sites.
That's like saying hating Twilight is unpopular. It is not unpopular to hate Twilight. It's cool to hate Twilight.
Here's the difference between Frozen and Twilight. Frozen grossed like $1 billion. Twilight grossed $1 billion across all their movies. So obviously it's popular with the vocal minority, unpopular with the rest of the world.
Wait, what, Twilight?
Yeah.
Or Frozen?
Twilight.
Okay, but I mean, any popular thing, like, it's unpopular to hate, pop music, like Justin Bieber or something. Like, no, it is super popular to hate that music because it's popular. It's the same thing with Frozen.
I guess that's true.
It just has this huge backlash to it because it's popular. It is a very well-made movie with some flaws, but people hate it.
Well, what if you took something
I hear a lot of
less,
hate about it.
Well, my point was they don't hate it because it sold $1 billion worth of ticket sales.
Right. I think we're agreeing on that.
Are we? Okay.
I'm saying people in general don't hate it, but there's a very, vocal minority who does hate it, largely because it is popular and it's a backlash to it being as popular as it is. Mm-hmm. Much like there is hatred for Justin Bieber and so on and so forth. But Steven, you were saying something?
Well, I'm sure I was saying something, Bryan. Maybe what I was going to say is that it's a weird fine line, but you can find things like Shadow of Mordor, where people generally think that's a pretty awesome game, right? Like, I'm sure lots of people don't like it, but in general, I think if you were in a room and you were to say, man, I hate that game, everyone would be like, what? If they knew what you were talking about.
That's exactly what I said.
Sure. So, Do you have any opinions, Brian, that would cause a room full of average people of average height to go, what?
Do I have any opinions? I don't like rice.
There we go. Brian, billions of people like rice. They eat it.
I don't know. Rice is
all
overrated.
over the world. People love rice.
Wait, how do you eat your rice? Like,
A lot of different ways.
because if you just eat white rice, that's boring.
No, I mean
what
fried rice.
What kind of rice? Really?
Anything. I mean, it's okay. I just think it's overrated. Like, it's decent, but pasta is just so much better.
Right, but you can't make fried pasta.
I should try.
Yes, you can.
You can't make fried pasta with barbecue pork and vegetables like you would fried rice.
Oh, I haven't had that.
I'm
That
sure
sounds
you
good.
could if you just.
Well, Kate, you can't do it and it would be good. Look, shut up.
So,
Fried rice is the best food ever.
ooh, wow, that's
There's an unpopular opinion.
No, I'm not talking about just like fried stupid rice. I'm talking about hard fried barbecue pork, vegetables, egg. It's just there's tons of soy. Oh, it's so good. Yum, I'm hungry.
I think that we are actually asking the wrong question of Bryan here, though. I think that we need to find out what kind of opinion could he say to a room full of Zacks. Would make all those Zacks turn around and say, "What?" and possibly want to kill him.
All right, let me think. Okay, this has got to be something about Gothic 3.
I was literally thinking Gothic 3. I was literally thinking the same thing.
Gothic 3 has the worst melee combat system of any RPG?
Well, that one I'm actually probably agree with.
All right.
You usually just kind of use you usually just say that, it's just a bad game, and that makes me kind of like...
That's like saying Morrowind has a poor combat system.
But if we're going to just criticize games bit by bit, I'm sure that I can agree with you on certain points.
Gotcha. Oh man, what would I feel like I've already said all my opinions that would make Zach.
Yeah, I think
I am against Gothic and JRPGs.
I think that
so
your
that
rice
kind of
opinion was perfectly unpopular and shocking.
Yeah. I mean, considering that,
How dare you, good sir?
I mean, like a billion people in China can't be wrong, but
Actually, I don't know about that. Well, that was delightful.
That's actually WoW's latest marketing campaign. All right.
Well, how about we...
Wasn't that their thing for a while? Like 10 million players can't be wrong or something?
There's a lyric.
I do remember seeing that in an ad for WoW once, that they were just like 10 million people can't be wrong. And
That is a terrible advertising campaign.
Well, I mean, I think that a lot of people can be wrong, but it's really just up to how you feel about something. There is no right and wrong.
Well, now we're getting into moralities.
It's not even morality. It's just the concept of having varying opinions on.
Now we're getting into opinions.
There is no
Cameron. We've been into opinions for an hour. That's your opinion.
It is of my opinion that we should probably end this podcast before Cameron has the opinion that we're all stupid dunderheads.
You're right. He probably already does. We're 3 minutes over an hour now.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm still good.
All right.
I mean, we can still.
We're still going to end the podcast, though. Yeah.
Well, let's not be crazy.
Well, I'm glad we've all learned a little more about rice and JRPGs or whatever we learned about today. That was fun.
For sure.
What did we
I
even
want
talk
everyone
about?
to know Steven has been running Empire at War the entire time, just ruining his Steam hours.
What else is new with you people?
Well, what do you want me to do? Get out of a game every time I think I might be done with it?
I was actually at
Yeah.
Parker's house recently, and we had been playing a little bit of Besiege on his computer. And we were going to leave the room to go do something else. And he's like, "Can you actually please get out of the game because I don't want it running in the background and messing
Thank
with my
you,
Steam hours."
Parker. Yes. So you know what one of the coolest features of all time for the Xbox One is? I think the PS4 has a similar feature. Zach, you can tell me how close it is to this. When you turn off your Xbox, you just press the power button, it saves it keeps your game running. And if you do anything that's not another game, so you go to YouTube, you go to the store, you go to watch a movie, you play music, you do anything that's not another game, and that game will still play. Period. It is so cool because I could be in the middle of a Halo level and be like, I need dinner, I'm gonna go have dinner, and I'm gonna watch a movie on YouTube or watch a movie on Xbox Video, and then I'm gonna go back into Halo immediately. It's so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm actually sort of doing that right now. The PS4 is on, and I just have it. I just have the game paused and I'm in the menu now and just sort of just letting it run in the background.
How does
Wait, is it rack up hours? Just going to be like, this JRPG 700
no.
hours to beat.
No.
Okay.
Like I'm actually like on the menu and I could like go like fire up Netflix or something and do that instead.
That's a really cool. I mean, it's basically just a computer, but it's still the fact that it's on a console is really cool.
Yep. That's actually most of the console features. It's like, oh wait, shoot, I can totally do this on my
But the
computer.
feature is that it's on a console.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Yep. So, Steven, it's up to you.
Okay. What?
In the podcast.
Oh, okay. We're ending the podcast, everyone. You're going to have to bear with me. I'm still feeling a little sick if it's not apparent, but I'm sure I'll be back to 100%.
It's really apparent, but it's okay.
Thanks for making me feel better, Bryan.
Hey, I don't mean to make you feel bad. I'm just saying it's apparent.
But I'll be fully sophisticated next week.
Cool. Next week, we might be doing a live podcast.
Oh, that's totally true. Cameron's going to be here next week. I don't know what we're going to do.
Oh my gosh! Woo! Wait, hold on. We're not going to have time to do it.
Well, I guess that I shouldn't be here because that would ruin the allure of a live podcast.
Well, we did it
Actually,
last time.
maybe it'd be the week. Well,
We could do it both. Why not? Like, why wouldn't?
That's a good point. We're going to need to also... I want to do it when Abigail's in town. That'll be the week after that. Maybe we can do it both.
Well, Zach, we had you on the podcast when I was in Texas last time too. That worked out great.
And everybody complained about how Zach was still in.
No, we
Kentucky,
didn't.
and
There's no way everyone would have
kinda-
complained because...
and it
No
kinda
one
just-
complained about that.
Speaking of unpopular opinions, no.
Look,
No one
Zach,
complained about
the
that
three of
at
us would have
all.
never been so rude, and we didn't have any listeners. So who could have complained?
Everybody complained secretly in their heart of hearts.
Just like Bryan's been complaining about rice, those thousands and thousands of grains of rice he's been force-fed over his life. We finally know the truth. So everyone else
Yeah, it's actually-
can ponder what else Bryan hasn't been telling us. Until next week.
Such as how long this episode...
Thanks everyone for joining us today. I have been your host, Stephen Kelly. This has been my brother, Bryan Kelly.
That has been...
Hey, and Cameron Nutter has been here as well. Thanks, Cameron. And also thanks to Zachary
Oh my
Malkin.
gosh, I've been here? Wow.
Yep, who's also been here. We've all been here.